Hi, my name is Schoenig. I am discussing my play, The Devastating Divorce of Debra, Delanie, and I proudly represent Troop 113797. So, with my show, I really wanted to focus on having something be simple and easy to explain to other people, because I think a lot of people misconstrue theater as being elitist and boring. And especially with younger people, they don't really understand theater, especially with their diminishing attention spans. And so I wanted to write something that would be something you could explain in one sentence, and it would be interesting and snappy, and people would just get a laugh out of it. And I found that when you describe a play as being about a woman getting a divorce from her husband that's cheating on her with a poodle, you get just that. So there's a lot of things that I really like about The Devastating Divorce of Debra, Delanie. The name is something I'm rather proud of, by having the alliteration of the D sound, but also words that you would hear as having a negative connotation, like devastating and divorce, but having it in such a cheery way with the childish alliteration is something that I thought was interesting and kind of just encompasses the play in its entirety by having it be something sad, but just presented in a really odd way. Because obviously divorce is a very serious topic for a lot of people, but when it's given hilarious context, it's not quite so serious. And another thing that I really liked about writing it was incorporating a lot of inside jokes between not just me and my theater, but also just my life in my town, which is a pretty cozy town. Having Barbara step in through a window was a parallel to a joke from a show we did at my theater last year, where I stepped out of a window for an exit where I fall out of a window. And to have that be a parallel and sort of a reference to something that not only people have seen me in before, but people would recognize from my theater before, was something that I really enjoyed. And the PTA moms in general was a running joke from 7th through 11th grade for me, where we would put on wigs in the dressing rooms and put on voices, and we would just joke just on and on for as long as we could before we had to leave the dressing rooms. And we would joke during performances, not while we were on stage, but while we were off stage and in the dressing rooms. And it was something that really brought everyone together, and I really wanted to write something that would encourage actors to get along by letting them have inside jokes and just mess around and bring that same sort of joy and just family to theater was something that was really important to me. And I'm obviously, The Devastating Divorce of Debra, Delanie does not contain a lot of symbolism. It's very direct. The only symbol I would say there is the innuendo of having a female dog as the antagonist. But aside from that, all the jokes are pretty straightforward, of having Cinnamon be called a homewrecker, as both destroying the house physically and metaphorically. But I think a lot of playwrights especially run into trouble when they want to seem... They focus more on writing and how well it looks on paper than how well it looks on a stage. That's something that I ran into when I was writing for this IE, and I didn't want to write something that I knew wouldn't look good on stage, because at the end of the day, that's what a script is for, is telling people the outline of what should happen on stage. Because obviously people forget lines and people forget props, and it's important to know what should happen and how is encouraged but not required. Every actor has mishaps, so it's important for me to know that even if there is a mistake on stage, they know what direction it's supposed to go in, and I feel that when the script is a little bit simpler, the actors know more what direction it should go in because they actually understand what's going on fully, especially when you're writing for my age bracket, which I was. And I think a lot of people misconstrue theater as being boring because there's a lot of symbolism in what they're watching, so they don't get it. They don't understand it as they're watching, which I think is the most important thing when you're performing live, is that people can understand what they're looking at instead of coming home and analyzing it. Because no one understands symbolism when they're looking directly at it, unless you're an English teacher, and most people aren't. But I really wanted something that younger people would be able to see and enjoy and really just bring those people into theater more than encouraging people to watch it on TV or something, because I think that live theater is something that is just so important to just a community, because you're seeing the people that you know or have seen around perform for your enjoyment, and when people don't understand what they're watching, they're not enjoying it. So instead of presenting a script that was packed with symbolism or was very avant-garde and something that would be in an English lesson, I wanted something that would be joked about at a lunch table or in dressing rooms or backstage. I want something that people can share with each other easily, because I think that's what theater is most importantly about.